Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because this is going to be a night you're going to remember for a long time. Because tonight, figuratively and literally, we are in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, with nobody who fits that like anybody else maybe we've had on this platform. And our guest here tonight has figuratively and literally done it all here in this sport. 8 times he's the ESW Shockwave champion. He's the current ESW Shockwave champion. Anarchy champion 16 times. He was even the Interstate champion earlier in the year and was one of very few people to be undisputed and a Triple Crown winner in ESW Shockwave history. He's done it all. He's even done it all each and every week being out there in the ring. And let's think about it, ladies and gentlemen. When you think about the term workhorse, this man is the definition and some. Find me a champion anywhere, WWE, AEW, MLW, Impact, or almost in any other promotion that every single week goes out there, whether he wants to or not, goes out there and defends that championship. But is tomorrow maybe his most turbulent defense yet? Because at Extreme Rumble 10, we saw at the end of last week's show for ESW Shockwave, the champion's forced to put it in the Rumble, and we don't even know what's going to happen there. But also everybody is asking, why Austen? Why? After what he did, giving that grenade to Alexis Vanderbilt, and what's the future of her? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the bloodline, what's going on with his brother, Alex G, and we're going to talk about just what's in store for the champion and maybe some of your comments. Plus, in about 25 minutes, I'm going to have an announcement that could very well mirror the day March 26th, 2001 in the backyard and underground wrestling world. Boy, this is going to be one where you can honestly say, figuratively and literally, all wrestling matters. And our guest here has been doing it in this squared circle for 15 years, and he's been on top, and there's nobody that can touch him, especially after what he did to Osiris in that death match. We'll get into that a few weeks ago, and especially with those grenades. And he's going to drop some of them. But ladies and gentlemen, since so many of his peers have gotten this introduction, this is the first time he is here, as I stated, in prime time on the brightest lights of the biggest stage. It is time to give him that championship-like introduction that he's been waiting for, and maybe he should get a little bit more often in ESW Shockwave. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to give this man this introduction tonight on a Friday night, and there is no better place that I would want to be than with this man right here. So, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, the reigning, defending ESW Shockwave champion. 8 times he has held that championship. Simply put, he's a goddamn hellraiser. His name is Austen G. The champ is here. Champ, it's an honor to have you.
Well. It's a pleasure to be here. And I got to say, I really got to say, Mr. Tom, that was a hell of an intro, man. That was definitely awesome. But when you're introducing the 8-time world champion, Austen G, when you are introducing the absolute best of the absolute best, maybe an introduction isn't even really needed, because every single person who is watching this right here, right now, already knows who I am. This face sells tickets. This face makes women cry.
Oh, Alexis Vanderbilt might be crying in a hospital somewhere, but nevertheless, it is Friday. It is prime time on the brightest lights of the biggest stage, and you should get that introduction because you don't get it on ESW Shockwave TV often, so that's why you got to get the introduction. But so obviously, it's an absolute honor. I actually have a couple of things I want to present to you throughout the telecast. I know a lot of people are already tuned in. They want to say hello, but I got to ask you, obviously, going into it, because obviously we're about 24 hours or so away from Extreme Rumble 10. So for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio or figuratively and literally, all wrestling matters. Austen G, what is your mindset now going into Extreme Rumble 10 where you're putting in that championship on the line in the Rumble itself?
You're not caught up all the way, Mr. Tom. You're not caught up entirely. You must have skipped a beat, because just today on the ESW Shockwave, I saw a video that was aired today of Alexis saying that not only am I putting my championships on the line, but I'm going to be number one in the Extreme Rumble. Now I got to last through 19 other individuals just to retain my ESW Shockwave World Heavyweight Championship. So here's where my mindset goes. Okay, here's what really gets me going. Is the fire that is lit under my ass is all over Alexis's face. You see, Alexis, she since day one has tried to make me look like a fool. Since day one, tried to come in and make me lose. Since day one, she came in and she tried to take away my life, the World Championship. And let me tell you what, night after night, she failed and she failed. And I gotta say, all that does is instill more confidence in me. No one is going to take away this business from me. Nobody's going to take away these championships from me. Okay? So when you ask me what my mindset is going into the Extreme Rumble, well, before it was a hell of a lot different. Taking on 19 other guys when I'm, who knows, maybe number 10. Maybe I get to pick a random number and draw 15. Hell, maybe I could pick a random number and be 19. The number right before number 20, short stack Marcus Max. But no. You want to talk about a low blow. You want to talk about an absolute spit in the face of the GOAT. Austen G. G is for GOAT. It's what Alexis did, what she announced today by entering me as number one. So now my mindset changes, Tom. Now my mindset, it goes elsewhere. It gets all twisted and mangled and then battered and blue. But here's the difference between any other wrestler in the back and between me and between all you copycats and all you other backyard wrestling and indie professional wrestling who thinks that they can compare to me. The difference between you and I is that I don't tolerate disrespect. I will not tolerate it. Austen G can be number one. Austen G can be number 20. And I promise you, Austen G will still be the world's champion by the end of the night.
Well, no question that obviously being in the Rumble in itself, and it's very rare for a champion, whether you're number 1, 15, 10, or 20, to have to put that championship on the line. So be that in itself is certainly a tall task. But let me ask you a different question, because I've interviewed a lot of champions, whether they're around the world, whether they're in the yard, the underground, the indies, like you said, different places. But let me ask you a different question. How is your mindset then different compared to prior championship defenses?
You're talking just whole other runs? Or
No,
you're
just
talking about
on this run currently, because you're defending the title now in the Rumble, because this is a different dynamic. Again, being in the Rumble doesn't matter where you're in. You're defending the title differently.
I hear you, Tom. The world's champion hears you loud and clear. Okay.
Well, we're live on Sportzwire, so come on, let's go.
Let me go ahead and explain it.
Let's go.
I knew coming in to go against Osiris. I knew I was going to face Osiris, and I knew that it was winner take all. Okay, and then you're looking at the aftermath of that. I knew I was going to take on the legendary conductor. I knew I was, episode 2. Then you want to look at episode 3. I knew I was going to face Deftone in a beautiful match. I knew I was going to face Jinx Master Jake Jordan. I knew it. At least I knew it more than I ever expected to be in the Extreme Rumble. That was going to be my weekend off, my man. That was going to be my weekend to chill. I was going to be poolside with girls that look just like Alexis but aren't Alexis. You know what I'm saying? And I was going to be cooling. I was going to be there thriving. But no. It backfired on me. The tables, they turned on me. I've made a lot of enemies in this business, Tom, but the biggest enemy that I face today, unfortunately, is Austen G. I did things.
What do you mean by that?
Have done.
Okay. Go for
What?
It. What do you mean by that?
I did things that I may or may not have should have done. Okay. Now, do I regret anything that I've ever done? Do I regret burning the final picture of Wicked J's mother, his dead mother? Do I regret that? No. Do I regret creating the new and trying to take over this from my brother? No. But was it wrong? Maybe. My point is I knew that I was going to face Osiris. I knew that I was going to face Jake Jordan. But I did not know that I was going to be in the Extreme Rumble, let alone number 1.
Well, that obviously changes mindsets, and we're watching some of the last match, and we're about to obviously come to some of the footage that everybody's talking about, and I'll go certainly straight to the point here. We see you and Alexis Vanderbilt back and forth right here, and it's all about to go down, and this is kind of where maybe your life flashes before your very eyes. And Champ, you made some great points, no question. You talked about a number of different things you've done, but here and now, and you are about to put your hands on Alexis Vanderbilt, and I mean, do you have any regrets? I mean, as I asked to introduce you a couple of days ago, I mean, why Austen? Why? I mean, do you have any regrets?
I said what I was going to do right after I hit her with that vicious grenade. I said that I was going to kick her. Maybe I regret not kicking her. Maybe I regret hitting the grenade at all. But either way, nothing would have happened as long as she didn't put me in that damn Rumble. Because all of this is a domino effect. It's a domino effect. She puts me in the Rumble. I call her a name. She slaps me in the face. And that all leads to this.
We're about to see it right now for the audience, and I'm sure they've seen everybody. 10,000 people saw it literally on YouTube, and I mean, this is, you talked about some different things. You talked about a lot of different things you've done, champ. No question, the resume, even this season, speaks volumes. But this is definitely one that I don't think anybody's seen in quite a while. And I mean, did you snap here? Because, I mean, you're talking now and obviously in retrospect, but I mean, even did you cross a line that you may not be able to go back from?
Austen G doesn't cross lines, okay? Austen G raises stakes, and Austen G sets bars, okay? He doesn't cross lines. There's no line in the sand. This is wrestling, right? Doesn't all wrestling matter? This is wrestling. This is my world. And you people, all of you people, all of you stupid little fans that are watching are just living in it. You're just observing. You're just watching it, watching me do all the work to entertain you. And a lot of you people think that I'm wrong for what I did. A lot of you people think that maybe I should be fired. Maybe I just deserve to be stripped from my World Championship right now. But that's not how this works, right? That's not really how this business operates. Because in this business, I control the operation. I'm the world champion. I'm the one that these people come here to see. I'm the reason why ESW exists today. It's not because of Jacob. It's not because of OSG. It's not because of Wicked J. It's not because of Dick Dominic or Cody Rex. It has everything to do with me. It has every single thing to do with me. And I've said this before. I said this a few seasons back. Austen G has never missed a year. Austen G has never missed a show. Austen G has never missed an episode or season. Austen G has never missed a day since 2008. Austen G has been on every single card. Every single card. I have never
this
missed.
Season, you wrestled twice even in some of the episodes. No question about that. But, again, you're the champion. If you're all these things, tell me your thoughts on this, to have this kind of mindset going into a title defense where you've got to deal with up to 19 other men. If you're all these things, why have this kind of mindset going into tomorrow?
What kind of mindset are you talking about? The mindset of a winner?
I don't know if that seems like a winning. You seem to be certainly unraveled a little bit tonight. You seem to be, talking about the different things you should have did, and you're talking about the people from the outside. And no question, what you've done in this sport speaks volumes. No question, even what you've done this season. And I agree with you. You're a workhorse. You're a workhorse champion. I said it. You're the definition of a workhorse. But, we're 24 hours away from Extreme Rumble 10. And as you stated, you have to go in there now as number one. And to have this kind of where you are right now in this state, talking to us and talking to the world, I'm just curious, and is this the way to approach tomorrow's show where your championship is on the line? I'm just curious.
I think it is, Tom.
Yeah?
I think it is.
Tell me why.
I think it's a good mindset to have. My friend, my good buddy, old pal Tom. Uncle Tom's here, everybody.
I am an Uncle Tom, actually, figuratively and literally. I got you, but it sounds to me like, though, that you almost come across a little unnerved, even more unnerved than usual this season.
Let me tell you what it is, okay?
Go for it. You got it. You got the mic. Go ahead.
I call it having the it factor, the killer intention, the Mike Tyson in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I get in there and I get the job done. Hell, I might even get 2 jobs done. I might not only be able to walk out victorious and prove to the world that I am what I say that I am, but maybe I can also end Alexis indefinitely. There are so many possibilities that can happen tomorrow. And what I like to do is keep every possibility open, except for losing the world championship. You see, that's not an option. That's not going to happen. And I can be a little shooken up. I can be a little raged. I can want to grenade Alexis all over the bed, baby. I can do it all night. I can do whatever I want to do in this Rumble. I cannot fail. And you got to remember, guess who's also in the Rumble? My big brother, Alex G. And then when Alex G's in and when I am in, it's over for the fans. It is over for Alexis because her biggest threat, she tried to put Deftone against me. Jake Jordan, she was trying to rizz up Jake.
He was the whole season. That was the whole thing. Jake Jordan was trying to come at you. You mentioned some other names there. No question.
And I beat him clean. She tried to throw a big challenge, literally a big challenge at me by throwing the biggest man in ESW's history, the legendary Jinx Master.
Yep.
And I took his big ass down. And now here is her biggest threat. This is the boss fight, so to speak. She's going to put not 1, not 3, not 5, not 7, but 19 other guys against me. And here's the best part about it. When I do win, when I do overcome the odds, and when I do pass everybody up on traffic, baby, I'm in the fast lane now. Whenever I actually do succeed, everyone is going to know that Austen G is not a paper champ. Austen G is what he says that he is, and that is the goddamn best.
Well, you're a goddamn hellraiser, but who would call you, after the amount of defenses you've had this season, who would call you a paper champion? Is it who? I mean, I'm curious.
The G-Dogs, the guy who now Alexis Vanderbilt and the platform are now under, they pay his damn bills. Luckily, I ain't paying that shit anymore. But now G-Dog is talking, he's running his fat pig lips, and I'm sick of it. But you know what? But it's the naysayers like him, like you, like all these fans, like any single person that is not me.
I don't know if I would say that I'm one of the naysayers. This is the first time I'm meeting you live. Now, obviously, I can't control what the fans have said. It is certainly the first time that we've had you. But, I'll say this much. I've had on a lot of champions and different things, even boxers. You mentioned the boxing reference. And, I will ask you the same question I've asked boxers and some other people from the world that I've had on over the past 5.5 years. You don't do it for the fans. For you, at the end of the day, it's about obviously some of the things you talked about, correct? The girls, the gold. So at the end of the day, the fans shouldn't matter. It's what you have right now around your shoulders, correct? So at the end of the day, what I think
is making them understand. Okay, what matters is you're right. You're absolutely right. They can say what they want to say. They can type what they want to type. They can do whatever.
They call them keyboard warriors is what they call them. I got you.
But I like to get them all riled up and wrapped around my finger. Wrap around it, and then they can believe what they want to believe, because the best thing about it is not only burying their favorite wrestler as I demolish them in the ring, but I prove all of them wrong. And I proved that what they believed in, who they believed in, what they thought was true, was absolutely a sham. And it's because of me. There's so many implicates and there's so many things that go on up here, Tom, that I don't think you can keep up to speed. So you just gotta hang on tight and hope that you don't get lost. Fasten your
I think I can keep up pretty well, but I think let's talk about some of what we see here in the match. And how sweet was it for you in a way, though, for Jake Jordan to count to 3 for you to get a victory? I mean, that had to have been in a way pretty sweet, no?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't even realize that was Jake, because he just looks like a Joe Schmo.
I was just waiting for somebody on the telecast to kind of mention that. I was kind of like waiting in a way. It had to be pretty poetic and, like I said, sweet that he actually counted that 3. I just thought that would have been.
I think he knew better. I mean, I think he knew that if he didn't count that 3, he would be counting the teeth of his that I knock out of his skull. Because who's going to help him? Alexis? Who's going to help him? M, the guy who I can outrun with 5 steps, and then he's up.
We don't even know what M can. Yeah, okay, I give you that. I agree with you on that. You could definitely outrun M, no question about it.
Okay, who is going to save Jake other than Jake? Wait, Jake couldn't even save Jake because I beat Jake clean. It only takes one grenade, and that is all it took for that shrimp to meet his demise, and it worked.
Let me ask you then a different question. And obviously, you have that gold. You have the gold that everybody looks at. You're the measuring.
Everybody, even these others fucking wrestling online, TBW, GAY wrestling, all these other, dumb wrestling things. They all wish that they could possess or be graced with my presence.
Which is actually what I was about to ask you, champ, is that I wanted to ask, because I've never heard anybody actually ask this to you. What then does it mean to you right now, currently, to be the ESW Shockwave World Champion?
I am at the top of this pyramid. Okay, now, I'm not saying that that our wrestling world, that the world that we live in, this wrestling world, I'm never gonna knock it. I'm never gonna say that any wrestling is bigger or better, but there is
Sure.
definitely tiers in the wrestling world. You can
Sure.
be hot dogs, you can be the middle dogs, or you can be that online world. You know, there's the television world, the entertainment televised world. You know, then there's the behind the scenes kind of low budget, but they're there. And then there's the guys who rock that internet world. There's the guys who just smash those online clicks. And oh my God, we are shaping this place up. But in that world, when you look up this style of wrestling on the internet, when you look at this world, this universe, Austin G is on top. Austin G is definitely on that Mount Rushmore. Austin G is the president. He is the warden. I am the guy. And if there were ever to be a collab, 6, 7, 8 of the absolute best, Austin G is on top in the main event, selling the most tickets, because that's just how it is.
I think you're definitely on the Mount Rushmore. There's no question about that. But before I get to some comments, a lot of people want to say hello. I actually have to do something, as I promised, because this is a first, actually, in the history of Sportswire Radio, and maybe even anywhere, underground, backyard, pro, indie, or whatever, because we are actually now live on 2 channels. It's kind of today for backyard and underground wrestling. I think very similar to the date of March 26, 2001, because if you're out here right now, we're actually on the Promo Wrestling Federation channel, which has about 1,300 subscribers or so on YouTube. We're also on Instagram there now as well. And actually, the announcement is that yours truly, the owner of Sportswire Radio, your voice of figuratively and literally all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce, is now the official owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation, who was actually owned by the man that interviewed you a couple of months ago, Mr. James Taylor. But I can assure you, we're here in a much more live setting. But I want to thank James for all the things he's done for the Promo Wrestling Federation. I'm going to have an announcement with James Tuesday night live on Sportswire Radio to talk about the change. But I think what we're going to see coming up here with the Promo Wrestling Federation, very similar to the day where Vince McMahon had brought WCW, is we're going to continue to run the Promo Wrestling Federation, but we're going to do some different twist. We're going to have maybe some wrestling content. We're going to simulcast some of these shows here on Sportswire Radio. You're going to see Sportswire Radio personalities maybe appear on the Promo Wrestling Federation channel. We're going to maybe do different things with it. Maybe it's videos, maybe it's live chats, a number of different things, because it's now about you. It's a great honor to have Austen G, and I couldn't think of a better person and a better way to kind of talk about this announcement by having Mr. G here. Obviously, he is the champion. He is the goddamn Hellraiser, but also to have a goddamn Hellraiser of a moment here in backyard and underground wrestling history, in that now you're going to get what you see here also on the Promo Wrestling Federation page. You're going to get the ability to decide. And now you're going to be in control, because as a matter of fact, sure, I might be the owner, but I'm not going to be like Mr. McMahon was once upon a time, or Endeavor, or Tony Khan, or Dixie Carter, or anybody else. I want the people to be in control. I want you to tell me what we should be doing at Promo Wrestling Federation. Maybe there's guys like Sean Joby that should be involved. Maybe Austen G should be involved. So he's the measuring stick. He's the guy that's on the Mount Rushmore. Maybe it's people like James Taylor who should stay involved. Maybe it's guys like Alan Michaels, CJ Black, Jack Delta, whoever else. Atomic Titan, Ledger Shade. Is that a name I can say? Of course we can say it. It's my platform. I'm owning the Promo Wrestling Federation channel. Omen Black, Soldier GP, Justin Parsley. You name them, they can be there. So now you're going to be able to decide what we do with this channel. You can decide what we do on Instagram and join us. And if you're right now live on Sportswire Radio, go over to the Promo Wrestling Federation page. Follow us on Instagram. We're there on Instagram. We're also on YouTube. And also message me. And if you haven't yet, go hit that sub button for us here on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. And also support our friends at ESW Shockwave, because they have over 8,200 subscribers on YouTube. Their most recent clip has 10,000 views of what happened with Alexis Vanderbilt. So certainly Austen G was good for business. I mean, he was happy. And the last show itself has well over 5,000 views. And they have, as a matter of fact, on their channel, 1 million plus views. So let's support those that are here. But today, and to recap, on this date, June 7th, 2024, yours truly, now is the Reverend Tom Bryce, who is also the owner of Sportswire Radio, where figuratively and literally your voice of All Wrestling Matters is now the chairman of the Promo Wrestling Federation. And also, I should remind people, I'm also a co-owner of the Pride Wrestling Federation, which was once held by Atomic Titan of TBW. So I'm trying to give you what the people want. So if there's somebody out there, you have a YouTube channel, you have a wrestling fed, and you want me to come in, I'll fix it. I'll clean it, because look at what we've done with the PWF page at Atomic Titan Hell. We've got almost 100 subscribers in 2 months. We've got new stuff, new shows coming in. So that's the announcement. I hope you join me in support those that are here with us. And it is figuratively and literally about all wrestling matters here on Sportswire Radio. And that's what we're doing. So you know what? Even if you're guys like Silver Wolf or C2K or this guy Joe Bidelau or anybody else, and maybe you need help in cutting a promo, because Austen G needs no help cutting a promo. He's up at the very top of the mountain. But if you are certainly needing some help with some skills, we might be using the Promo Wrestling Federation as a way to be the developmental to coming on this platform. So we're going to get some of the best in this sport to help you. And we're going to use our channel now, the Promo Wrestling Federation, to make those changes, because the only way the community can be better is by those in the community help those who need a hand and a helping hand. So that's the announcement. You'll see more details. Also, tomorrow will be with Dalton Skulls, who used to own the Pride Wrestling Federation. We'll talk more about that. But obviously, let me get to some comments. A lot of people want to certainly say hello to you. Let me give them the opportunity, because people don't want to hear me. They want to speak to you. My very good friend from the great state of Alabama, nearby to you, Hillbilly Tilly, says, howdy, Tom. Howdy, Austen G. Big fan. Thank you very much for tuning in. Want to say hello to my good buddy, also like you, a world champion in the great country of Australia. It's got to be about 12:34 p.m. their time. It's Mr. Ace Reed. Ace is obviously the host of the Wired Up podcast. You probably want to do his show more than you'd want to do mine, because he's a fellow wrestler like you. And he says, good day, Bryce. Also, good day, Austen G. My very good buddy, Mr. Alan Michaels, who, of course, is a rapper. He is also a part of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, defeated their world champion there, Mr. J. Walters. How's it going, fellas? Also want to say hello to Mr. Silver Wolf, who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to you. And I want to wish a happy birthday to my very good buddy, Mr. Dane Johnson. Dane Johnson is kind of like the worldwide Pez collector. And I interviewed him about 4.5 months ago. He's basically kind of like, should probably be on a Howard Stern episode. The last night's show was kind of like a Howard Stern show. I feel like I had the whack pack, not wrestling coverage. But Dane Johnson is a very good friend of mine. He's a great man. He's a teacher in the community in Queens from Long Island. And he gave my nieces some Pez, which they certainly used. And he's a man that's invited me still to his house. I haven't gone because, well, I'm speaking with great people like this man, a living legend in this sport. But I will get to you, Dane, very soon. Thank you for your support, and happy birthday, and I hope you have many more great days ahead. Alan would like to call you the man of the hour. I would say you're kind of the man of the day, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. Also, Shane Davidson, Armageddon Shane Davidson. Want to say hello to my good buddy, Mr. Darkron from the great state of Ohio. Evening, gentlemen. Certainly this guy, for whatever reason, is not a fan of you, but I'll let him say it, but not me. He called you a tool rubbing elbows with me, but don't listen to him. Don't listen. Obviously, you're the champion, but we do say hello to Mr. CJ Black. He is a good guy. But also, Hillbilly Tilly wants to say he had this memory. Your brother Alex G versus Wicked J in May 2011 is easily my favorite backyard match ever. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And I think a lot of people would agree. Want to say hello to the owner and founder of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, who gives you hello, and a friendly hello to his Joshua Allen. Joshua's one of my favorite people out there. And the man that interviewed you not too long ago, Mr. James Taylor, who I obviously purchased the Promo Wrestling Federation from, but is staying on board. We're going to talk more about the change in hands. It's more of a celebration of the community. Yes. Would you want to say anything about this guy? Do you have any memories of him? Anything you want to say in particular? I know we got a lot to cover current.
We got a lot to cover, but I know that face. I know that face. For him, I'm going to say hello to you. I know that man. I know. Yeah.
That was a good one, by the way. Want to say hello to another fan of yours, Mr. Peter Richards, Austen G, an OG legend in the backyard. Could not agree with you more. ESW for life. We all agree with that. Want to say hello to a man that was just on GTS. He wrestled the opening match on last week's show for the Hardcore Championship. That's Mr. Doc Holliday. I mean, boy, 1.3 million subscribers. I don't know why Doc is here, because he loves you, obviously. He's not a fan of me. He's a fan of yours. He's not a fan of
wow. No, that's surprising. No, I mean, GTS is definitely... they're the top dog when it comes to the viewership. I mean, it's definitely a good thing.
But he's a part of their company, and he wanted to say hello.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. So hello.
So absolutely, want to say hello.
Hell yeah, man! Keep watching ESW.
Yes. Yes, Grimm is actually, we have friends that know Mr. Grimm. That's all I'm going to say. Well, my buddy, Mr. TikTok influencer himself, Mr. Big Man Cam, he is massive on TikTok. He has a clip with 50,000 views and he's as big as Bigfoot. Maybe you'll use him as help. Who knows? He's going to let that slide about TBW. We're going to say hello to Mr. John Amwart. How you doing today? Good, John. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the nice words, PWF. I think somebody disagrees with you being the measuring stick. That is the IMF world champion in Iowa. But like you said, everybody's going to have opinions. There's no question. Soldier, has a difference of opinion.
Never heard of IFW.
IMF, though. They're in Iowa.
Same thing. Never heard of her.
Well, I'm going to certainly plead the fifth on that, but I'm going to certainly say hello to Soldier. Soldier was here last night in the show, and people are still talking about that. And he's a part of a thing called Summer Bash. It takes place July 5th to July 7th in the great state of Ohio. So we're looking forward to Soldier's here actually Thursday night coming up here, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm sure he'll have a few things to say. Want to say hello to my buddy Craven Rage from the state of Wisconsin. Congratulations. You'll be a great owner. We'll certainly see. And that's right, ladies and germs. Tom is the new owner of the PWF. I'll make an announcement about it. So he'll make the announcement after we're off the air, and we're going to be here Tuesday night about that, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Austin G, I respect your work in the ring, champ. And Austin G, how does it feel? I started watching ESW when I was 12, and now I'm 24. So I'm going to plead the fifth on the age part, but he's obviously a fan, and obviously you're here on top, and we talked about that. And I mean, what are your goals then? Obviously, what are your goals for the rest of you? Obviously, I know it's to retain the title coming up here tomorrow, but what are some of your goals here in 2024?
Well, Tom, there's a lot of unfinished business, and it seems like that's just how it always is in this industry. There's always loose ends. There's always things that you wish you would have done, and that maybe, just maybe, in time, with the way the wrestling world works, it'll all come full circle. History repeats itself, So what my goals are, of course, it's not only retain, which I will against 19 other guys. Yes, I will. Not only retain my World Championship, nay, my ESW Shockwave World Heavyweight Championship. But you got to remember that this is not the finale for season 8. This is only the mid-season finale. So
Correct.
We're going to come back and we're going to go even more in depth with season 8. So what you are seeing, what you have witnessed thus far, we are barely halfway done with what's really to come. What the show is really going to unravel. So I would just say, hang in there, shut the hell up, and just keep watching like I know you're going to do anyway. But my goal is to ensure that I am still on top, to ensure that I beat every single person on my roster. And I've already defeated a handful of them. So who's left is what the real question should be. Who is left? We got guys like Blake. We got guys like Doc. We got guys like Short Stack. I mean, look, I
was wondering your thoughts about him because he's number 20 in this, and that was obviously seems to be like part of Alexis Vanderbilt's plan B, which is kind of where it led to you giving her the grenade. I think that's maybe in defense of you, if there would be a defense, was that she kept saying there's a plan B, but he's number 20 in this. I mean, are you concerned about Short Stack? He returned obviously last week. And
why would I be concerned?
He's number 20.
What difference does that make?
Well, his size and what he can obviously accomplish, and you're going to obviously be going through 18 other men once you get to him. Wouldn't that be something where it's kind of like she's put a roadblock towards you?
No. I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. And here's the best thing. I think, and I have proved it time after time again, Tom, and here's why I love to say it. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I have grenaded Doc. I have grenaded Jinx. I've grenaded Short Stack. I have lifted them up over my body, and I have hit them with the most devastating move in all of wrestling. And that is what I am going to do again. I am going to lift him up, and I am going to throw him out. It doesn't matter if Stack was number 2. It doesn't matter if Doc is number 2. It doesn't matter if Jinx is number 3, and then Stack is number 4, and then PO3 is number 5, and then you can bring out as many roadblocks as you want, darling. Alexis, you can bring out whatever you want. Go ahead and lay it all on the line, because this is your last defense. This is your final hour. And tomorrow, you say goodnight, because Austen G is going to walk in number 1, the world champion. 20 guys later, Austen G is going to walk out still the world champion. Follow that down.
I'm going to certainly do that. I'm taking notes. But let me ask you a different question, because you referenced your brother, and I'm sure I know the answer, but I'll still ask you anyway. If you and your brother are in the Rumble and it's just you and him, I'm sure he's going to obviously do the right thing and make sure that you continue to stay on top, and he'll eliminate himself, correct?
That's the plan. Yeah. I mean, that is first plan, okay? Because
I still had to ask it. But
no. I mean, of course, like I said earlier, there is 1,000 scenarios of not only the order of appearance from the guys in the back that are going to participate, but there are so many possibilities on what can go down, but they all end the same, Tom. Austen G will still be the world champion. So first come, first serve, of course. I mean, it doesn't matter who's first. They're going to get it. But if Alex G and Austen G are the last remaining 2, Alex G is going to do what is right for the business, and he is going to eliminate himself, because I am what is right for business. And I think as the time goes on and as Alexis continues to fail, she's going to see the views rack. She's going to see her trying fail and diminish and dissipate. And then she's going to have no choice but to understand and reward me. Now, what she can reward me with, I got a couple things in mind. But other than that, there's so many opportunities. But if Alex G and Austen G were the last 2 in the Extreme Rumble X, then I think you know what's going to happen. Austen G will still be the world champion.
And he thinks the same way. You guys have spoken about this?
Of course. And now I understand why you're questioning it. I can feel.
Because we see this all the time, and everybody says, yeah, we're going to do this. Then all of a sudden, they try to do something. Because again, isn't it a dog-eat-dog business? You know it. We've talked about this tonight. I think that most people would actually agree with you in many ways, that are even those that are maybe jealous or peers of yours, that at the end of the day, everybody's in it for himself. Sure, the fans are great, but when it comes to, let's say it is mano a mano, you and your brother, at the end of the day, I mean, you're only looking out for yourself. That's why I still have to ask, have you guys spoke about that? And does he feel the same way still? Because I think that's a question that's always going to be in people's minds. You'll never 100% be sure until if it happens right tomorrow. I mean, we'll find out. I mean, we're going to watch the show. And if it happens, again, this and if, maybe you'll go through everybody and, he'll, eliminate somebody, and, or maybe he'll be accidentally eliminated, or, whatever it might be. You're going to obviously, from what you're telling us, from what I gathered from you tonight, you're going to have no problem. You're going to retain the title. But again, we spoke about short stack, and then there's your brother. So I did have to, at the very least, ask that question just to make sure that you and him were on the same page.
Rightfully so. But you know what? I think that the main idea, and it's been played out and it's been said 1,000 times, but it's the absolute truth, that this championship will never leave this bloodline. So, hell, I mean, maybe we would like to entertain for a little bit, and maybe we would like to throw down for a little bit, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be on the same page. Maybe Alex G will be the world champion, and then me, Austen G versus Alex G. Then Austen G becomes a 9-time, and then the rematch, Austen G versus Alex G, and then Alex G becomes a 10-time by that point, and then it's just back and forth, selling tickets, views, while Blake Pierce is boo-hooing in the back, while Short Stack is dripping sweat from his ass crack, while Jinx Master is not nowhere to be seen, when Alexis Vanderbilt is behind bars. Okay, for doing what she did to my business, for putting me in a predicament, in a place of self-defense, and I had no choice. It's just, so much that goes through the brain of the world's heavyweight champion.
So for what you're telling me then, just to go back to Alexis, it was because she kept almost pushing you with that plan B. She always kept saying, there's a plan B. I've got a plan B. And that's where you were driven to a state that almost led you to that moment. That what you're telling me today, in a way, kind of to justify what happened?
I mean, she knew what the idea was from the get-go, and that's what kind of angers me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
From the get-go, she knew exactly what she was going to do. She had her gun cocked and loaded, but she just never pulled the trigger. But she knew she had it. She knew she had it in her pocket, and she was ready to pop it when she was aiming at my noggin. But here's the difference.
Go for it.
Alexis pulled the trigger just a little too late. Okay? Alexis shot herself in the foot instead, because not only am I going to become victorious and still be the world champion, but Alexis, she better run. And I hope she can run fast. Because what she did in my business, what she did to me, there's going to be consequence. And people think a grenade was something to be worried about. Well, there's so much more to be desired for. Look at me. Look at everybody else on the roster. And then once again, look at me. And tell me who can eliminate me.
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow at Extreme Rumble 10. If you want to watch the show, you can actually do it on YouTube at ESW Shockwave. If you want to follow the champion, that's actually his Instagram page. So if you want to obviously keep up to date and certainly see what the champ is up to and everything else he's got going on, please support him and everything else that ESW Shockwave does here. Let me ask you one more question. I have a lot of comments, and I want to try to get to as many people as possible. Let me ask you one kind of a slight detour. There was a kind of a missing poster that had mentioned the words 46 numbers 4624 on it. It had a couple of different things in championships, and you have a thought or two on that, and just anything that concern you, or you're just locked into your own situation now at this Rumble? You have a thought on that whole kind of thing we saw with this missing poster and those dates 4 6?
Here's where my brain jumps to, Tom. Here's where it all kind of just crumbles and just scrambles like an egg down to.
Go for it.
Anybody who wants to join the wrestling, anybody who has been in it and wants to return, anybody who wants to be involved, they want the championship. There is absolute no reason to not join in a spelling bee, in the race. Why would you want to join the online gaming or whatever the hell it is you nerds do if you're not going to try to be number one? And that's what all wrestlers want. They want to be number one. I have never once met a wrestler who joined to not want to taste and touch gold. So the way that I see it is, it really doesn't matter who it is. I have some theories, but I can never really pinpoint it, because at the end of the night, I can't focus on that too much, because either way, when you're the world's champion, either way, when you are the absolute best of the best, either way, when you're Austen G, you will always, and I mean always, have a target on your back. Because they want to be able to say that I beat Austen. Some of these guys, they just want to be able to say that they faced Austen, that they were in the same ring as Austen.
Well, you're the guy that gets the views, right? You're the guy that sits at the top. You're the guy that's been doing this 1 million views on YouTube. You're the guy that goes out there, last show, 5,500 views. You're the guy that every single week goes out there and does what he needs to do to keep it. You're the guy that prefers to be a champion rather than a chaser. There are some people in this sport, they're great chasers, but when they get the title, they have a hard time with dealing with it. You seem to, from what I gathered, again, I don't know anything about wrestling. I know absolutely zero about it, but from what I gathered, champ, you seem to be one of these guys that thrives in the pressure. You seem to thrive in prime time. You seem to thrive in the brightest lights and the biggest stage. There are other people, they almost kind of cower and they almost kind of just almost shrivel up. But you, it seems like you seem to almost rise even further than anybody else can.
I'm not here to make anybody happy. I am not here to entertain and make people go home happy, because what I want is at the end of the night, whether you're happy or rather you're sad, rather your children are cheering in joy or rather they're crying and throwing a tantrum. All I care about is what is honestly paying the bills. What I care about is what is keeping this business afloat and maintaining the absolute best product out there. And that is winning, being in the main event, and being the world's champion. Okay, so there are so many targets on my back, and that's not just in the ESW locker room. That is all around the world, Tom. So it doesn't matter who is.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. This is the first time. I'm glad you brought that up because you're obviously in a different element. With all due respect, and no question, you've earned everything you've done in this sport. 15 years, 8-time world champion, 16-time Anarchy champion. You're the man. You sit up there. You're right there in the Mount Rushmore. I don't know what the numbers will be, but you're right up there with different guys, Ledger Shade and Jack Delta, once upon a time, ESW. I can go on and put more names out there. But you're in an environment where your peers are here. I mean, at the end of I know you're focused on Extreme Rumble 10. I know you're focused on what you're going to do to continue to stay on top and look like the way you do. No question about it. You look like $1 million. You're wearing probably $1 million worth of clothes. You speak like you're $1 million. This is coming from a guy that, I'm not too far there. I'll be honest with you. I get it. Trust me. I'm not that far behind you in the real world on that. So I can tell it to you firsthand. I know what you're going through in that sense. But you're also now here in an environment where your peers are watching and you're right in a way. You're here and there's no question the footsteps are there. You hear it outside of ESW. Guys come on here all the time. I'm the champion, the champion. So, not only are you obviously competing against, those that want to take that away from you, the prize that everybody wants, and to look good like the way you do right now, but you also have others out there outside that they want to lay to the claim that you have right now. No question about it. You definitely see it. You're watching it.
I appreciate that. But I do have some theories of who the Missy Man could be. I mean, there's a handful of guys, right? I mean, it could be, I don't know, OSG, right? I mean, it could be Cody Rex, it could be...
What about that guy that you beat for the title? That guy named Ring a Bell? No?
Prodigy?
Yeah. What happened at the end of the last season? Any thoughts on that? Does that name?
Prodigy is nowhere on my radar.
Yeah.
Jacob Prodigy, for one, is not a threat.
Okay.
Never has been and never will. He was so easy to manipulate, all it took, he was like a high school girl. Hey, I'll train you how to wrestle, Jacob. Hey, get in with me. Let's hit the ring. Hey, let's go out, man. Let's have some fun. And then when these two best buds went at it for the world championship, it was just so easy. It was too easy. Somebody like Jacob failed the knowledge, in-ring ability, ooh, but he failed on where it matters most. And that is why he lost. And that is why I became the world's champion. That is why I had no choice but to not only turn my back on my friend Jacob, but to turn my back on these fans. Because I was a face from season 4 till season 7.
But like you said, the fans, they're not the ones that matter. At the end of the day, the fans aren't going to get you to gold. The fans aren't going to get you to look like $1 million.
But like I said earlier, it's a good feeling knowing that all of these people believed in this friendship. All of these people believed, and it was, I want Austen to win. No, I want Jacob to win. And it was just this buddies going at it. And these fans, they loved it. And it was all bullshit. And that is what I just absolutely love the most. It fuels me. I mean, look at me now. Whoa! I'm fired up. And it's because these fans, they boo-hoo and they cry.
10,000 people watched it. I would be fired up too. Over 10,000 views for season finale 7. And we see the match here in the main event. And obviously we see where it's all about to unfold. And yeah, people were definitely invested in this. They were invested in the respect, the friendship, and but it all certainly changes here very shortly, and you're on top and you're the man. I mean, you're the guy for it. So really what you're saying is kind of what you've been talking about throughout the evening. Before I do get to comments, and I'd like to give you a couple of things here for coming on the platform, but is that, again, the fans don't matter. What only matters is staying on top. And at the end of the day, the outside noise, your peers, the fans, it doesn't matter. What matters is keeping that prize, and certainly keeping it after Extreme Rumble 10, and keeping it for the foreseeable future.
That's exactly right. But no, absolutely not. Jacob is not on my mind, and he is not on my radar. I would not expect him to be coming back tomorrow.
Okay. So I just thought that we would certainly ask, and we're seeing the match here. If you haven't, please support ESW on their YouTube channel. I have so many comments. Let me get to them, because I'm going to never get to them. I want to make sure that we do that. Let me get to that.
Let's get some questions of brewing too.
I'm trying. Listen, I can't control the people. I let people say that, but I don't know if I would take this too seriously, champ. Craven Rage is the only one that can dethrone Austen G. Listen, champ, don't worry about it. I would say somebody's trying to pull your leg here.
Trust me. I am nowhere near worried.
I will actually go to bat for you on this one, saying I wouldn't worry about this one at all. I disagree with that. And somebody wants to say hello to James Taylor's plushie. We're going to move on from that. There's a guy named Jack Delta who's here. I certainly kind of rang the bat signal it sends, and he said there's a Rumble tomorrow, huh? And he put eyeballs there, and
let me tell you something about Jack Delta, okay?
Yep.
Jack Delta, I got a lot of respect for, okay?
He's the champion for the shirt I'm wearing for right now. He's
no. I mean, I know all about him. He's great, and like I said, I respect him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like him. Why
don't you like him?
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
I'd love to know.
Because he was given an option. You're going to come down for a money match. And he chose Jacob. He chose the guy that I beat. He chose a literal paper champ. I mean, I'm Austin goddamn G. 8-time world champion Jacob.
I was going to say.
You had one opportunity to probably have the absolute greatest match in the history of our sport, and you chose Jacob Prodigy. And now that match is long forgotten because Austen G has wrestled that many times since then. But if you were to have chosen me, we could have made history. But I think I understand where it stems from. He would have known that I wouldn't have not only kicked his teeth in, but he knows that he probably would never be able to compete again. So I think I understand the level of respect that he has for me, but I think it's different with my level for respect for him. Because like I said, I respect him. He came, he flew, he did what he had to do. He travels, everybody. He travels. Well, we all travel, you see, but I'm traveling in jets with women. You're traveling in the back of a horrible plane, sleeping in a rat and flea infested hotel just to wrestle in front of 100 people. When you could have been wrestling for 10, 20, 30, 40,000 with a match like the headline. Imagine that headline. Austen G, Jack Delta.
But some would say that he traveled and he opened doors. Some would say he traveled and he connected companies and gave them the opportunity to see him on their platforms, and that allowed for a community to be built. Some would say that
him a favor. He did nothing.
Tell me why.
ESW wasn't like, damn, we need a Jack Delta. No, Jack Delta was like, damn, I need ESW.
Well, he went to TBW. They didn't need Jack Delta. He went to them for the same reasons he went to you. I mean, so
the difference is if you were to be in the ring with me, it wouldn't end pretty with Mr. Jack Delta.
So I think the better. I got you. But the better answer to that would be is that he's inferior to you. He's a step below you. That kind of the better way from what you're telling me is that
if you really want to smarten it, or you don't want to hurt Delta's feelings. But again,
Well,
Delta,
honestly,
that's
I
a
think
challenge.
I'm going to slightly
Delta.
cut you off. I'm going to slightly cut you off because I don't think, you see, I know you may say that I don't know you, but you actually don't know me in that sense, because I am somebody that I will call it straight down. I don't have any problem saying if anybody I don't like, dislike, or not. But what I will say is, from what I'm gathering from, and I understand where you're coming from, champ. Obviously, you're the man. You're on top. You've been doing this for a long time. You've been in the game longer than Delta. But I think from what you're saying is that you're on certainly one rung, and from what you're telling me, and again, obviously, you have all the facts to back it up from where you are, but from what you're telling me is that he's just a little bit underneath you, and that's why he wanted the match with Jacob Prodigy and not with Austen G. That's basically what you're telling me. That basically a fact?
Sure. Yeah, we can go with that. But Jack Delta, I want to face you. I want to face you, and I don't see why, when it comes down to the money and the views, why you would say no, other than the fact that you're afraid. But this is a challenge, Delta. Hear me out, Delta. I'm not Jacob Prodigy, Delta. I'm Austen freaking G. I am the sinner. I am the killer. I am the goddamn Hellraiser. So, to answer the question how I feel about Jack Delta, I like this new answer. The new answer I like better. Jack Delta, what I think about Jack Delta is I want to face him. That's my answer for Jack. So I hope you people would like to see something like that too.
I would, you know what, as a promoter, I would certainly pay a lot of money to see that match. And I think a lot of people would pay a lot of money to see that, because you're the man that's worth $1 million. And Mr. Delta is a man that also conducts himself in the same way. And I think that a lot of people would want to see that. And if it happens in ESW, I think a lot of people would be very happy to see that. But that's up to Mr. Delta. You obviously have to focus on Extreme Rumble 10. I agree with you.
Of course.
I agree with you completely on that. Also, let me get to a few people. Atomic Titan would like to say hello, Tom and Austen G. And Atomic has a question for you. And I don't know how I should phrase this, but I'm going to let you answer it anyway. But does Austen G want Alexis Vanderbilt? That's why I was like, let me try to phrase this after yesterday's show, where I thought I was actually going to be canceled. Just so you know, champ, just before I let you answer that, I really felt like I was Howard Stern with the Whack Pack last night. And I won't explain to you how it was. It wasn't even really a wrestling show per se, but I'm still going to let you answer this question. And you could answer it in any way, I suppose, that you want.
You gotta believe something, okay? And I really need you to believe this, because it's, I mean, why would I be lying, right?
I check everything you say, and I believe you. I got you.
Okay. I have been with many girls. I have won championships, and that same night, hit straight tens. You know,
Ric Flair has nothing on you, basically.
What I'm trying to say is, when it comes down to the loving, when it comes down to the you want to put your bleep in that bleep, when you want to get up in there, realistically for me, it's not just bend over, let's roll. I want to talk. Austen G has a lot to say. Who would have thought? As mouth watering and as juicy Alexis's front side and back side is. Now, if I would have seen her, somewhere else at a bar, or just met her at one of our classic pool parties that we have here in Corpus, it would be a different story. I would say yes. I would have dove deep into that. But now it's a little different. Now it's personal. Now she's an enemy. It's different now. But what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think Alexis is pretty? Do you think Alexis is good looking?
I would certainly say that Alexis is very attractive, but she's also in a position of power. And I would
also kind of sexy, right?
Well, I'm going to certainly be very careful with as a fellow now, certainly, I guess you might want to say, now that I'm technically now crossed the line, I'm going to certainly be very careful, especially after last night's show. I have to say this in context. I had a show yesterday, like I said, Howard Stern and the Whack Pack. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to be very careful with my words. But what I would say is that she's a very attractive woman, but at the same time, She's a woman in power, and I'm going to certainly refrain from that. But if the audience, the people in the chat have an opinion, I'll certainly be happy to tell you what they think. But I would say respectfully, but nothing more. Just again, in context, you have to remember the show that I did last night, the way it ended, the guy, I can't even repeat what he said. So I have to be a little careful with that. But let me get to some more people who want to say some different things. I think CJ Black basically gave his answer. He's got dibs on it. So there you go with that. Want to say hello to my buddy Sean Jovi. Sean Jovi and I are also sponsoring a thing called the All Wrestling Matters World Underground Championship in the state of Ohio, July 5th, July 7th. And he says Jacob Prodigy will. I don't know what he means about Jacob Prodigy, but his name does come up here from Mr. Titan. And I want to say hello to a new person here, Mr. Comatose, because Comatose was actually speaking to me off the air, and he's a big fan of the platform. He was telling me a big fan of yours, and he was going to tune in. So I want to say thank you, Comatose, for tuning in. Alex and Austen G, though, need to take back control. Most entertaining part of the season, which was at the start of the season. And, obviously, I'm sure, would you like to be, back in control? I mean, obviously, you're focused on Extreme Rumble 10. I know you're a busy man, and you got, obviously, $1 million shirts right now, $1 million watches, that championship. You look like you're $1 million. Again, take it from a man that's not that far behind in real life.
No, hey, man, I believe you 100,000%. I mean, honestly, I would never underestimate you. You seem like $1 million. I'm not even saying that to be disrespectful. I mean that from the heart of Austen G. You seem like a badass dude. But, it's, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
You know what? I mean, what I would like to say is let's see what happens tomorrow. I think tomorrow's show will dictate where you guys go. I mean, if you guys are successful and victorious and you guys continue to one up Alexis Vanderbilt, you guys might get back into power. I mean, objectively speaking, I think that there is always, you can never say never. And you guys have still been, again, you guys are the top of the sport. You guys are the top of the food chain. So I wouldn't underestimate that.
That's what, let me tell you what I think.
I would love to hear it.
That Austen G never lost control.
Tell me why.
And that's because she believes she runs the show. She throws in all these obstacles. She runs it this way. Tonight, this is happening because Austen G needs to lose. And then the next night, tonight, this is happening because Austen G needs to lose. Tonight, this is happening because Austen G needs to lose. And yet, time after time, page after page of the book of Alexis Vanderbilt, page after page of the platform manual, Austen G keeps overriding their decision because it is in their power and it is their decision to take the championship off of me, to give ESW a new clean slate. We're taking care of the people now. People will know because before you end what I've created, you got to destroy the army. And I am the army. I am the champion. I am the business. And Alexis is still shooting her shot, and she's still trying and trying and trying, fail after fail.
You're drawing blanks from what you're telling me. Let me ask you a different question, as we're here, of course, with Austen G, who is the man. He is the 8-time ESW Shockwave champion of the world, and he's the current champion. And he's going to be in action here coming up tomorrow at the Extreme Rumble 10. He is in the Rumble defending that championship. He is also participant number 1, and you can follow ESW Shockwave on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and watch Extreme Rumble 10 tomorrow on the ESW Shockwave YouTube channel. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of figuratively and literally all wrestling matters. I am also the owner of Sportswire Radio. I am a co-owner of the Pride Wrestling Federation and the full owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation. We are here with, of course, Austen G. Let me ask you a different question, because it's fascinating. I'm going to give you a different perspective and tell me your thoughts on this, champ. Now, you're the guy on top. You're the guy that's drawing in all these views. You and your brother have obviously been setting the example. So wouldn't it then be in Alexis' interest then to continue to have you guys on top, to continue to have you guys continue to reign supreme, because there's nobody else that's drawn in the view? So why then do you think that Alexis has continued to draw obstacles in the company's two best draws? I mean, I would seem from a business. Now I'm a businessman. Now, let's talk business.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah.
So as from business to business, B2B, right? Why would it make any sense for Alexis to kind of hurt her biggest asset in you and even your brother? I'm curious on that.
Well, I mean, of course, I don't know what her honest motive is, but here's what I find interesting. Here's what I really, really want to dig into, and I wish I could just find out. I wish I could just know it all, But Alexis is nothing more than just a middleman. who is this platform, right? Like who runs that? Like who sent her? But my other thing is who investigated or who reached out from the roster or from just the within? Who reached out to the platform to where
Good
they had
question.
to send somebody like Alexis is not from the state. I don't know where the hell she's from, but I know she flew down here.
We don't know much about her background, honestly, from at least as far as
I
I
don't know
know.
anything about the girl, and when I try to look her up, I can't find anything about it. Okay, so there's so many unanswered questions, but I think what it comes down to is that people were just on the roster were upset for how the show was being ran. Now, yes, when you want to look at a business standpoint, Austen G is what is the best for business. But when you have 19 other guys in the back who are stinking up the joint, who want to be the world champion, who are mad because you're going to open the show with Deftone and Austen G is going to be main eventing with Jinx Master. You're mad because why is it always Austen and why is it not me? Let me grab my phone and call the platform. Hey, Alexis. Hey, do you mind coming down and investigating because they're not giving me world championship opportunities? And then, no, I'm never going to give you a damn opportunity. And let me tell you why. You're looking at it because of me, because I am the king of this industry. And that is all it is. So, yes, you could be mad. Yes, you could be jealous. You could be sad. You could be glad. You could feel any type of emotion you want. The guys in the back of the fans, I do not care. Because Alexis, she is there on business. She's not doing what she wants to do. She's probably an educated woman. She probably knows.
She probably knows nothing about wrestling. He's stepping into your world, right?
She's following orders. Yes, she is following orders. She knows nothing about this industry. She knows nothing about this business. Her task, she was given a file, let's just say, and it said, get rid.
She's a paper pusher, then, from what you're telling me.
That's what I think. I don't know. This is what I think. I think she has an agenda. Why is her agenda? I don't know. But she works for something called the platform. And I think they sent her to not only get rid of Austen G and Alex G and the bloodline whole, but to make it this new era, to kind of bring this new presence where ESW lives even after the bloodline dies. And I think she's trying to look out for the future. Maybe she's like,
I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It would be hard to fathom ESW without you. And it's so fascinating that you're even having this conversation, the platform, and a paper pusher, from what you're telling me, is trying to usurp everything. And she's not even from this sport. And that's just kind of a fascinating, riveting point you've just made there, champion. And there's some legitimate comments I want to get to here. I'm not owning ESW. They're not for sale. Let me just focus on what I have. I just got some people. Let me just focus. Let's be serious for a second. I thank you, Atomic, but let me focus on building up Sportswire, these other companies. Let's let the professionals run ESW. They've done a great job. They're killing it out there. I think they're doing a very fair job. Let me put it that way. Thank you, though. I appreciate the kind words. The Del Rio vibes are unreal. Well, Del Rio's not on top anymore. He's on top. Let's say that for sure. Want to say hello actually to a forefather in this sport, as Mr. Hardcore. He's from the GWC, the old original GWYBN days. I want to say hello to Mr. Hardcore from the great state of Georgia, a real standard bearer alongside Copper Dragon. He's the one that obviously rates all the matches. He's kind of our ambassador in the yard. He is the Dave Meltzer. He's the 7-star guy. And want to say hello to Mr. Hardcore. He is here, coming up here Sunday, June 23rd, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for all you did for this sport, laying the foundations for us to be here. So thank you, Mr. Hardcore, for your support and everything you've done for us. I appreciate it. It's been a great show tonight. We're having a great time, and no slander on Delta from you. The man earned everything. But I have a comment from Mr. Delta. Let me come back to Mr. Delta. I feel the same way, Austen G. You've done so much for this business, but you never shut the hell up. I want the match with Austen G. Notice you were in charge, and you didn't bring me down. You have a response to that? Rather fascinating comment there, my friend.
No, I'm going to have to take a double glance at this. Oh, great. Okay, well, I talk a lot, great. But guess what? I talk and people listen. I talk and ears perk up.
I got 60 people live tonight. I tell you what, a lot of people are here tonight, 60 people.
It matters when I speak, Delta. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter when you speak. I'm not saying that at all. But I can go ahead and talk about whatever the hell that I want to talk about. I can talk about a cow in outer space. I can talk about a zebra in the ocean. I can talk about whatever the hell it is that I want to talk about, and the people are going to listen. And I can talk fast like this, or I can talk like this. And it really doesn't matter, Jack Delta, what you have to say or what you think, because I will always be in control. And yes, because when you came down here, you had an option, and I'm never going to let that up. Okay? I was not going to say, we need help. How about me and Delta? No. Jack Delta, I said it already, and I'm going to say it again. You want the match? You got it. You want it? You got it. You name the time. You name the place. You want it? You got it. You got that?
Well, you know what? I think people got their answer. I think that they got that. Does Austen G believe he's ready to take on someone the caliber of Jack Delta, a man who has cleared his conscience in the yard and clearly isn't afraid of a Del Rio? Talk a lot talent. What do you say to that?
Well, what I want to break down is their definition of caliber. You know, because it's one thing to travel and to wrestle at all of these B+ industries, but imagine being the top of the A1. Imagine for the past 15, 17 years, I can't even keep count at this point. Who knows how many matches I've had? When you're on the Mount Rushmore of this industry, when you are Austen G, you set the bar of the caliber. I am the caliber. I am this business. You exist because of guys like me. Your business exists because of my business that I run. So Jack Delta, his caliber, impressive. Like I said, much respect for Jack Delta. And hell, I think after a match, there's no way in hell I'm going to lose any respect. And there's only more to gain. Imagine having Austen G's respect. But imagine being disliked by Austen G. And that is a whole other ball game. You don't want to be disliked by Austen G. Did you see what I did to Alexis? Yeah. Did you see what I did to
10,000 people did on YouTube just in that moment alone.
Yeah. And then they want to talk about a caliber. There is no limit. Austen has no filter. Austen G is out of pocket.
But you seem to know his name, though. You know, other people, you probably, again, you're a busy man, may not know their names, but you know his name. His name, you know. If you were to go, there are certain people that if you put them in a lineup, right?
Yeah,
I go back to my days when I studied law in college, and they would ask us, the professor would put like these different terms, lingos, right? They would talk about lineups. You'd be able to pick his name out of a hat. So clearly he's the one guy that people would want to see you. And, you know, it's funny because in a lot of ways, I'm going to tell you something that you'd be very surprised to hear. He's very similar to you in the sense, because there's a lot of guys that come on this platform, right? And they talk about, yeah, I want to face Jack Delta. And Jack Delta actually is very similar to you. He doesn't really entertain, or maybe one or two people here and there, but kind of like you. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, that want to be like you. A lot of people want to face you, but he's the one guy that you certainly perked up. Other guys from different places, again, friends of the platform, friends of the show. You know him. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't know what goes on through your mind. You're a busy man. You're obviously focused on that, what you have on your shoulder right now. But his name, you certainly have something to say, and you know who he is.
I definitely know who he is. And you want to know why I know who he is?
You tell me.
Because wasn't he the one guy who was on the biggest ESW show? Wasn't he on ESW at one time?
Yep, he was, correct.
ESW once?
Yep.
I know who he is.
I see.
Because he was on ESW.
Okay.
The baddest show with the absolute GOAT of the industry, Austen G. Oh, he's on that one show with Austen G, the GOAT. Yeah. I know Jack. I know him very well.
You know him well, though. But there's a lot of people
talking about Jack. Jack can shut his crack. Okay, I want to hear some more comments.
Well, I'm sure he's going to have more comments, so I hate to disappoint you and say that he'll actually have another comment right here. I'm actually going to jump his comment at the line. You do have some positive comments. I'm going to come back to those, though. I heard the Backyard Dirt Sheets reported yesterday that Austen G eats corn long way, deconfirming reports of the champion sleeping with dozens of women. What would you like? Now, again, not my opinion. Last night's show was kind of that episode on Sportswire. I'm going to let you answer that because I have absolutely zero opinion on that.
It's funny. It's funny, right, guys? I mean, ha ha ha. He eats corn the long way. Whatever. Look, man, I'm not 18 like you. I have a career. I look what I'm holding the richest prize. I got so much on my plate that I'm not gonna sit here and talk smack and talk the schoolyard trash that you did in junior high just last week when you were still in school. Okay, I lay it all on the line in the ring. Okay, because I can say whatever I want to say. I can pronounce however or whatever I want to pronounce, but that doesn't matter because here's the difference between you and I, Jack. Okay, you travel, yes. You hold titles, yes. But Austen G is Austen G. Jack Delta is Jack Delta, but I would have never heard of her if she wasn't on ESW. You know what I mean? So you got to.
Well, conversely, though, some would say he opened doors for a lot of places to work together.
That's the second time you said that, and I'm going to say I don't give a damn.
You may not give a damn, though, but that's what the community of backyard wrestling was built upon. We referenced something, a global backyard wrestling network that Mr. Hardcore was built. In many ways, Jack Delta was opening doors just like you were on top. No question what you've done speaks volumes. You're the man. 8,200 plus subscribers on YouTube. I still like to present to you something before the show is over.
Yeah,
But the point is, I really definitely eye on you. I promise you that. But at the end of the day, he still opened doors for places that they wouldn't have. Maybe they wouldn't have survived. Maybe it wouldn't have gave wrestlers an opportunity to wrestle somewhere. Maybe it wouldn't have given people a chance to maybe follow in footsteps and dream, and he did those things. You've been on top, no question. I'm with you.
No, look. I mean, I'm not gonna talk, about the doors he opened, his back door being open for all the corn on the cob that he wants in there, or whatever the hell.
I'm gonna say no comment on that, but
it really doesn't matter if people think he opened doors. At the end of the night, while he opened a door a few years ago and did a cool thing, he did one cool thing. Cool. He opened a door for traveling. Cool. Austen G has opened many more doors, like being an 8-time world champion, like wrestling guys who are no longer with us, like the clown prince Wicked J, like not only being a part of the unit and the showrunners and the new, but the bloodline and ICW. I mean, look at the names that I've not only taken down, but the names that I have brought up. You see, Austen G has opened doors, and Austen G is continuing to open doors. Jack Delta, he's still kind of doing the Jack Delta that we saw 4 years ago. Austen G has changed these past 4 years because I know what is best for business.
Well, you've certainly stayed on top, and you've evolved, and you've been able to stay on top. I think that's a very valid point.
Goes to a company, gets on top. Boo, he's boring. No one cares. Flies somewhere else, gets on top. Oh, he's boring. Same old shit. Then
but again, we'll go to more comments in a second, but some would say, though, he goes there, tries to build that company up, help them get a following, and he goes somewhere. It's almost like starting a small business. You start one business, go to another, go to the next, and that's how business becomes successful. I mean, but,
Sure.
We'll see. We have a lot of comments here. Let me get to them.
Yeah. I want to hear those good comments.
Actually, I want to give you one. One of my buddies, Jack Spade, would classify you as a 10. He's a big fan. He says you're a 10 out of 10. He is from the great state of Arkansas, a fellow wrestler in his own right from Resurrection Wrestling, and he's loving the show. He's been loving my shows lately. James Taylor, for whatever reason, says sleeping with dozens of women. That boy can have a hell of a lot of child support coming up. I don't know about that. We'll move on. Shane Davidson says that one day he'd like to finish Face You, but he's got to finish other things. If a match were to happen between Austen G, what would I think we kind of asked about that, right? I think we want to move on from that a little bit. I think we did. But Jack Delta would like to say we need Jake Jordan in his mask as world champion to draw 1 million views and outdraw both Alex and Austen G. But you beat Jake Jordan last week, so we're done with Jake Jordan, right? We're done with him.
Next.
Okay, I figured you'd answer it, though. But I'll come back to Mr. Delta, I'm sure. James Taylor, go get us an Alexis. So he wants an Alexis for his promotion. For my promotion here, he wants an Alexis. So somebody actually thinks that Alexis, which again, you got your answer. Well, like I said, Alexis is a very attractive woman, but I'm going to be very careful in my words. If you, Austen G, I think you did ask that already, but Peter Richards has you over Jack Delta. He says he's got you. Um, Atomic Titan would like to say she's probably from Nashville, hence the Vanderbilt name. So he is swearing that Alexis Vanderbilt is from Nashville, Tennessee. CJ Black wants Alexis to go to Michigan. He knows a guy. Shane Davidson wants to say hello to Atomic Titan. James Taylor wants to know CJ. So somebody, you've created a firestorm with Alexis Vanderbilt. Maybe that's a good news for you, Chan. Maybe Alexis Vanderbilt will go to somewhere else, and you could be happy about that. And want to say hello to this guy. Yeah, you should not wrestle this guy though. This guy just moved. Hello, but definitely not wrestling him. Also sounding like an old head right now. Not gonna lie, Alan Michaels is comparing you to an old head. I'm not sure why. But Comatose would like to say, Austen G, you are certainly a name in the yard that can draw attention and an inspiration to the yard. But you said you were the GOAT. Yeah, he said he was the GOAT. He said he was the GOAT. I don't know. Okay, we'll move on. Jack Delta is a fake champ. He beat Vacant to win the belt. JX is going to win that title again in his company, and then he'll get back. So he's with you, it seems like. So CJ Black's on your side there, Mr. Austen G. So you're getting a mixed crowd.
Okay.
All right, so also makes some good points here. Comatose makes Navon McDonald. Yes, obviously Navon McDonald's a name out there. Another name out there, Wicked J, we mentioned. Carrie Cade, yep, CJE's legacy. How can you claim GOAT status amongst those names? But everybody's got a Mount Rushmore. Everybody's got a Mount Rushmore. And, it's one of those. I will buy some ESW merchandise. I promise you I will do that next. But being a champ of one place like ESW means more than any other title. That's facts. What Atomic Titan would like to say. So there you go. You are getting. I told you would get a mixed crowd. You're gonna get some people. Sportswire is like Baskin Robbins. You're gonna get 31 flavors. Richards would like to say difference of Delta and Austen is Austen doesn't need to travel. The challengers come to him. I think you pretty much had mentioned that.
Whoa, that's a good comment. Well, yeah, I like that one. I like that.
People are going to give you different opinions. Listen, I mean, obviously that the public is entitled to what they want to say, and I don't influence anybody. I let people speak the way they want. CJ is crazy and needs to worry about Jacob Collins. Okay, I think it's a good time toward the second half, near the end of the show, and I want to present to you a couple of things. So obviously, I appreciate everything you've done for us. I appreciate everything you've done for this sport. So I know you've been having some problems in ESW this season. You obviously talked a lot about Alexis Vanderbilt. You talked about the Rumble tomorrow, but I want to actually present to you something that I would hope that you would certainly take as a token of our appreciation for everything you've done for us in this sport. And I'd like to add it actually on this date here, June 7th, 2024. It's Austen G Day on all Sportswire radio platforms, which includes our new live outlet, which is the Promo Wrestling Federation, which we're live right now on Twitch, X, it's Twitter, X, whatever it is, LinkedIn. I'm actually on LinkedIn, my business account. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, sportswireradio.org, anywhere and everywhere that there is a Sportswire radio platform. I wanted to honor you, sir. I'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air, but I wanted you to have something because it's about time you get something from the outside, and I wanted you to have this, and thank you for all that you've done for us in this sport. So I want you to have this as one, so hopefully you'll take that as a token of appreciation. Hence the certificate of appreciation. But I have one more thing to present to you, which I hope that you'll also take, which I think you'll probably smile when I give this to you. You'll actually, for a change, smile at something. But I want to officially acknowledge you as the goddamn Hellraiser of backyard and underground wrestling. So I've given you this certificate. You'll get it, and we'll obviously fix that at the end of the show. But there's that, and hope that you'll take some of those things as a token of appreciation. And there you go. So I hope that you'll take it, and thank you for all that you've done for us in this sport. So I wanted you to have something for a change.
Well, I really do appreciate that. And I got to say, once again, to all of you fans, also, at the end of the night, I'm not a bad guy. At the end of the night, I'm just trying to make this show special. I'm trying to make the community special.
You did? No, listen, there's no question you've done that. There's no question you've done that.
I'm never going to knock any of you other guys, any of you other talent. I might go ahead and talk some trash. I might go ahead and call some of you out, but that's the business. This is a combat sport. We're here to fight. I'm here to ass, so
that's it. Now listen,
everybody's
I gotta be honest, and you being here, I just want to put it out here. I know we've been talking a lot about this. If I could for a minute or two, I know obviously we had the announcement a little while ago, but before I get to a few other things in closing, I do want to say in all seriousness, it is an absolute honor to have you. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for everything. If I could break for a little minute here, just thank you for everything that you've done for us in this sport. You have gone out there, I've been using a line the last 6 months that guys like you do it for the true love of this sport. You put your blood, sweat, and tears out there. You have built the yard. You have built the underground. And I just want to, it's been my mission in a lot of ways, really, to go out and support, whether it's financially. We've been doing that, obviously, literally, merchandise. I have been providing people support off the, if they want to talk, whatever it is. I really want to use the platform to support people in any way I can. So I really believe that you have been a founding father of All Wrestling Matters. You have been a founding father on the Mount Rushmore. And I do just want to take a moment just to say thank you just for being here, because it really is an honor. Jack Delta's been here 3 times, and I put you being here is like having Jack Delta, like having Ledger Shade. Having you guys here, it's very special. And just to have you here tonight on a night like this, and a special night, really, for our history of our sport, I just can't say enough about you and everything you've done. I know we've only known each other really for a few days, but obviously knowing and trying to be as much as I can of a historian following this sport. I started in British wrestling, which is kind of the irony of this, a guy that started covering things in the UK during a worldwide pandemic. But to be here today with you is really a momentous day, I think, for the community, because we are, in many ways, people are saying I'm building a community. I don't know if that's true, but you have laid those bricks alongside your brother and so many in ESW. So I'd just like to, before we get to a few others, just say thank you for everything that you've done. And I hope that you can come here anytime you want and say whatever. And that the people here, I think, at the end of the day, at large, are extremely, very, very honored to have you here. The fact that on a Friday night, near midnight, almost 70 people here. People could be doing whatever they want, but they know you're the main event. They know you're prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage. You're the man. They're here. And I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for this sport. And that's why we really wanted to honor you with a day. And I'll fix a certificate later on with the date. But just want to say thank you again.
Of course. And I really do appreciate that. But don't sell yourself short. Not that you ever do, because I know that you're a confident man. Like you said, you're $1 million. You are definitely
close, not at one, but close.
You connect everybody together. There's some companies that I've never heard of. There's some companies that I just didn't watch that now I'm watching. Now I'm into, for example, and it's all because you keep everybody connected, and that's a powerful thing. So yes, I would like to agree that maybe you are kind of creating this community, but that's good, because at the end of the night, we're all in this for the same reason, and that is to put on a damn good show.
And having you here, I just want to say, having you here is really a big deal. I just want to say, having you here is an absolute honor. I can't say enough good things about what you've done in this sport. And, obviously, I know there's a few more comments. I want to get to some. I know you're a busy man. Let me get to some more before we get to closing thoughts. Somebody really wants Alexis Vanderbilt. That's all I want to say. I think it's CJ Black. He wants Alexis Vanderbilt off your hands. Somebody else, I think Austen G is not going anywhere. He's staying in ESW, Jackson Snow. But thank you, Jackson Snow, for that. I'll come back to your next comment. I don't trust the opinion of a man who's just 2 different names, and he basically doesn't like Peter Richards' comment. That's one thing. But Austen G, it was an honor just for you to read my message. It's just an honor for you to be here, first of all. And you're amazing regardless. He has a lot of respect for you. And thank you. I appreciate that, Comatose, and I appreciate the kind words. ESW has inspired me since I was a kid. Watching that thumbtack bat match was insane. Made me want to start wrestling. Also, it is true. Look at the names on this show. The turnout. I can't spit the people. This guy's another up-and-comer, D'Angelo the Flame. He says hello. D'Angelo the Flame is another guy kind of following in Jack Delta's footsteps. Maybe you'll see him down the road. Jackson Snow says you're building a community, Tom. Look at the word you're spreading by having guests to get out the word about the product for others to be aware of. Thank you, Jackson, for the nice words. I actually, in my real life, have been a networker. That's actually my job. I've been looking for a reason to travel to Texas. We'll see. Stay tuned. Whatever brings the people together is something I always dream of, and wrestling is one of the things that brings people together. And hello to Nicholas Crenton. I want to say hello to you. When I met the old EBW guys, they were really inspired. I think it's ESW. When I met the old ESW guys, they were really inspired by you guys, especially Wicked J. You did inspire a lot of people to backyard wrestling. No question about it. Dark Crime would like to say from the great state of Ohio, we have followed ESW for the last 5 years. And of course, TBW, of course, we are friends and family in TBW. You guys put us back in the game because he's an old head. He goes back to the days of, like, let's say before Global Backyard Wrestling Network. That's how I go back. But also, yeah, he meant EBW and ESW. Yeah. Okay, let me ask you a couple things. I'll get to more comments, but we're coming toward final things here. First of all, what do you want to say to any of your prospective opponents in Extreme Rumble 10 tomorrow? What do you want to say to anybody that you're going to face off with? I think it's the most obvious question.
Oh, well, that's a good question. Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, man. You know, what's funny is every single person that's going to be in the Rumble, I'm sure at least once or twice in my career, in my long, luxurious career, I have probably encountered. And I had probably kicked the skull off of their bodies, or I grenaded them, and I probably pinned them 1, 2, 3, at least once in my career. So the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I already said that. But for guys like Blake, I've defeated Blake, and I smashed his face. And then you got guys like Jake. Again? Do I really got to prove another point? Do I got to prove that thing again? You know, we got guys like MOD, the Master of Disaster. We got guys like Osiris. But
I put him right on the screen. I saved him for last because this is the match that was the most viewed this season so far. And, you know, like, you did something here and what you guys put your bodies through, and that's why you are the workhorse. That's really why I coined you the term the workhorse. You are a goddamn hellraiser, because what we're going to probably see here in a couple of minutes before we sign off. I mean, this is just speaks volumes of what you did here.
Yeah, I know. This is definitely one of my best matches. I absolutely do love this match.
I think it's one of the best matches of the year in the entire yard. I watched it twice, and I instantly thought of my buddy Copper Dragon, who rates these things on TikTok. He's kind of the scorekeeper system here in the Backyard Wrestling. And this was one, like, you know, the match you had here with Osiris, you know, winner takes all. I mean, just, I don't even know how you were doing a match like this and wrestled the week after.
Yeah, no, right. No, for sure, man. It's definitely without pain and without soreness and gain and letting scars heal, or wrestling while scars are healing, you know, but it's the business. And that's why the business is not for everybody. So for the people that are in the business, I salute you. And people don't understand how much work and pain is actually in it. You know, you're hitting the gym, you're eating right, you're getting your ass kicked, and the next night you got to do it again. You know, so there is time for pleasure. I mean, I'm also the 8-time world champion. There's always time.
Obviously, you've said that throughout the evening. You do a lot of pleasuring anyway afterwards.
Of course. I mean, look at me. But, you know, that doesn't go without saying that I am going to be bloody, black and blue, and be thrilled that in a few days, I'm not only going to be in the gym, but in the next week, I'm going to be back in that ring. So it's definitely not for everybody. So for guys who do this, you already know the pleasure, pain, and glory that comes with it.
And we're seeing the match here itself, and when we get to it, and let me get to some more comments before we get to a few final thoughts. I will say one good thing about Jack Delta: he can wrestle better than he can cut a promo or insult someone. Jackson Snow, who is the DBW World Extreme Champion in the great state of Maryland, would like to say that he's followed you for years, and it's really badass to see you on the show. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. I've had a lot of people message me like, "Wow, it's an honor to have you here," which is no lie there. He's lost 2 pounds since Austen called me fat 3 months ago. That's good, right? 2 pounds in 3 months. Does that come out to a pound a month? My math is terrible. This is fire. Nicholas Crenson loved the match. Alan Michaels wants to say, spent months training and grinding. Only wrestlers know what kind of a man you are at the end of it. Yeah, Alan is one of my actual closest friends. He's really Alan is me and Alan. He's a good man, Alan. I just want to say that. But yeah, I mean, certainly after then going through a match like this, no matter what's put to you tomorrow night, you got to still be feeling really good, especially after going through this match. Then if it was before we get to final thoughts and such, just watching the end of the match here and such.
Oh yeah, no, I love to watch it. You know, and then this goes without saying that, you know, even though Jake, I not only beat clean and you know, knocked him in next week, you know, it was a match and we threw it down. Me and Jake you know, that's another really, really good match. Yep. And that goes without saying that tomorrow I am going against 19 guys. And it was just last week where I had to face Jake, and he was good. It was good. You know, it was a good match. The week before that, I wrestled Jinx. The week before that, you know, and I did, like, it's just, I mean, so consistent. But
I think you've had like 6 matches in like 5 weeks or something like that. Some
Right.
crazy stat, whatever it is. It's
right.
some people don't even defend their championship in like 5 months, right? But you defended it like what 5, 6 times already. That's crazy to think about. You know, when you think about if somebody was a scorekeeper, and I think that's why I go back to before we get to closing thoughts that if you're the man, we see the spot that everybody's talking about heard around the world, and this is where you're about to basically finish Osiris. But I mean, you know, again, I would just think if I'm Alexis Vanderbilt, which that's going to be my last question before closing thoughts for, is that I would not be sure why still somebody would want to put their biggest asset through all these different things. I would just be wanting to ensure that that asset stays kind of in the condition needed to continue to put business where it needs to be. That's just, again, what do I know? I know nothing about this and anything about business. I'm only getting into business from this side.
Well, you know, I like what you said earlier, Tom. You had said that some people are good at being champion and some people are good for the chase. You know, some people just have it better for the chase. So, you know, at the end of the night, this whole Alexis Vanderbilt thing, I mean, she's kind of on the chase. She doesn't want it for herself, but
she wants it for somebody else because we don't know anything about her. I think that's what I learned through this season is that we don't know who she is. We don't know.
And it's exciting. And it really is exciting. Here she is now. And this is her first episode. God, man, just looking at her is just like, woof, ain't that right, boys?
I think a couple of people here in this conversation have kind of agreed with you. I have one guy, CJ Black, who wants her to come to Michigan, and then there was somebody else I think that had a few things, and you know, and he's already saying he wants Alexis to chase him. Who knows? I don't know. I mean,
no, most def, absolutely. But I think it's without saying because it's so to speak. But the rivalry between Austen G and Alexis Vanderbilt is definitely going to be one for the books.
I think it's one of the hottest things right now going, not just even in backyard wrestling, but all of wrestling. Because I watch a lot of wrestling, not just, you know, backyard, but I do a lot of stuff overseas. This is probably the most comprehensive and hottest thing going around right there. But let me get to a couple of things before I do ask you one more final question, which is on Alexis Vanderbilt. Hope you win tomorrow, but if not, I believe you'll get it back eventually. Well, I don't think you have any other plan but to keep that championship. So I think Mr. Titan's half right. D'Angelo the Flame is a man I would certainly say pay attention to. He has traveled in a lot of places right now, and he's certainly Jack Delta should maybe be more worried about him than you right now because this is the guy that's probably nipping at his heels. He says, I can respect a man that actually defends his belt, and in his promotion, he's wrestled in the same locker room as Jimmy Controversy, so he knows a lot about what he sees in the GTS crowd. He's been in those locker rooms, so he's been very successful, and Joshua Allen would like to say, agreed, D'Angelo, and especially with one that doesn't have to have help. He's basically saying you don't need to have help as champion, unlike his hardcore champion, Atomic Titan. And also, Mr. Titan likes to say, Austen G and Alexis going to end up getting married like you did years ago. I'm going to say no comment on that. I'm going to say I don't think you guys are going to be Triple H and Stephanie. That's what I'm going to say is I don't see Triple H and Stephanie in this one, but I guess you could say never, but that leads me then to my last question for you, Mr. Champion. You've been so gracious with your time, and I will get to more comments, and I'll certainly leave on the closing thoughts, but what would be your final words then to Alexis Vanderbilt before we sign off for the evening?
Alexis, maybe you're watching this, maybe you're not. Maybe one day you will. But either way, this message is for you. See, Alexis, sweet bottom, oh my, have you made an impact on my life? My, oh my, Miss Vanderbilt, have you changed the way that I think? Have you changed the way that I function? But that doesn't go without saying, Miss Alexis, that you cannot tamper with what is supposed to happen. And what is supposed to happen is what you are looking at right now. What is supposed to happen, what is going to continue to happen, and how it is going to be is set in stone. Alexis, you want to make waves, and I'm talking waves like your curves, baby, because they are curvy and they are coming. But I am a good surfer, And I'm telling you right now that you have thrown your best and you have continued to fail. Alexis, after tomorrow, what do you got? After tomorrow, when I walk out still the world's champion, what do you honestly have next? What could you present to me that's going to threaten me at that point? Alexis, say goodnight. Because I am the sinner, I am the killer, and I am the goddamn Hellraiser, and I am the 8-time world champion, the 8-time world champion, the current ESW Shockwave World Heavyweight Champion. And Alexis, I am money. You are looking at money right here, right now, right in front of you. So you want to go ahead and threaten me? You just took a grenade, baby. And I'm telling you right now, in the bedroom, I don't call them grenades, okay? Call them something else, if you know what I'm talking about. My last thing that I want to say to not only the fans as well is keep on watching and keep on believing, not only in yourself or these other guys who are putting their body on the line, but believe in the business, believe in the community, believe. And as long as you believe, we are going to prove to the world that we can all do this. We can all entertain. And right now, Alexis and Austen G might be the hottest thing. And hell, maybe it's because there's hot-ass Alexis involved. I don't know. There's a lot of elements to this. But for the fans who are watching, who don't wrestle, continue to watch and support. For the people that are watching right now that do wrestle, do not stop and do not think of yourself under anybody, not even me, because that's what I had to believe to rise to the occasion. And look at me now. Never say never. Jack Delta, never say never, because the opportunities are endless in this business.
The best is yet to come, and we'll find out tomorrow at ESW Shockwave Extreme Rumble 10 in Season 8 if the man himself will continue his reign supreme on top as the ESW Shockwave champion. That is Mr. Austen G. If you'd like to follow Austen G, you can check him out on Instagram. Check out ESW Shockwave. You can watch the show on YouTube. They have almost 8,300 subscribers. They're on Instagram, Facebook, over 7,400 followers. Instagram, they're on. Please support them. It has been an absolute honor to have the champion. And before we move on to sign off for the evening, will I get Alexis on the podcast next? I don't know. I don't know that question. I don't even know what I'm going to have for breakfast tomorrow, but never say never. I really don't. I honestly don't know what I'm going to have to breakfast. At this point, I'm lucky to even remember where I am at this point, but thank you for that. Atomic Titan cheats because he lost to Titan through kind of a screwy thing. You'd think she'd be down to cover the bill on our date. I don't think that's going to work. I'm going to let Alexis talk about that. You'll see. Got to get Austen G and more ESW wrestlers on here. Absolutely. Listen, I would love to have more people. Anybody from anywhere is welcome. So if anybody from ESW wants to come on, if Alex wants to come on, or anyone else that has something to say, anybody's welcome anytime on this platform. So we certainly welcome anybody here. But you have any closing thoughts? Anything else before we sign off for the evening? It has been an absolute honor, and I've kept up here on the screen to honor you on this day. It's a special day. It's a special day really for the wrestling world here in our community, as I am now the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation. We're going to make a lot of changes with that, obviously, to add some different things to help our community, give people an opportunity, do some different things, maybe on a developmental level. I'll talk about that live more over the next few days. But would you like, Champ, to say anything else before we sign off?
Well, besides what I had to say to the fans and the wrestlers watching around the world, and especially to Alexis, the main thing that I got to say is be sure to tune in tomorrow. I believe it's noon start time, and you're going to see Austen G enter number 1 in the 20-man Extreme Rumble X and walk out still the world's champion. And I'm telling you right now, you do not want to miss this, as Season 8 meets its mid-season finale. You don't want to miss it, guys. Be sure to subscribe and follow, like, share, do all the things you know to do, and go ahead and stay tuned and always support.
Amen to all of that. And I actually want to put it up right on the screen as we'll sign off with this. If you have not hit that sub button for ESW, you can do it right here like I have. So make sure you hit that sub button for ESW. Support them, support it. There's nothing else you could be doing at noon other than watching. It's a Saturday at noon. You're probably just getting up. You've slept all morning.
Right.
I mean, there's really, seriously, in this particular case, I'm actually going to handle the promoting because there's actually nothing you could be doing. I couldn't think of anything tomorrow. There's no sports going on. You're not going to go to the movies with your girl at noon. You got to be there. If you want to go grill, want to go in the pool, you do that afterwards. This is very simple. This is straight to the point. Let's kick the ballistics. We're about all wrestling matters here. All you got to do is go to the ESW Shockwave, watch the show, watch the Rumble. These guys kick some ass. They've got a... There it is. My mic is off because we're so excited to have you here tonight. My mic is on and off, but the point is that there is nowhere else to go but to be there. Hit that sub button, go watch season 8, go watch Extreme Rumble 10, and we can't wait for it. And again, all wrestling matters. This is the exact definition of it. And before we start, I'm getting 2 more comments in. I'll be writing a love letter to Alexis, and he'll try to multitask it. And also, Alan Michaels wants to, he's going to be one of my guys in the Promo Wrestling Federation. We're going to put a big role for him. It was great seeing this tonight. And hey, G, don't forget the name, the trendsetter, Alan Michaels. You'll be seeing a lot. So he's actually a rapper, by the way. He raps. He's a big TikToker. So he's a wrestler, kicking ass in TBW, one of my guys, and also a big star. But it's an absolute honor. Go get him out there in the ring tomorrow. Can't wait to watch the show. I hope to see you here more often. Thank you so much for everything you've done, and it was an absolute honor to have you. What a special day it was, I think, for the community, and just kind of, it was lightning in a bottle. I didn't think I'd have a new YouTube promotion, a wrestling thing, and you come on live, and sometimes the wrestling gods kind of smile and look down, and I kind of feel like that the last 4 weeks on this platform that they've been smiling down, and sometimes that you get a little bit of wind to push you when you're stuck out there on the water. But my friend, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the show, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute honor to have on here Austen G. He is the 8-time ESW Shockwave champion of the world. He is the man, part of the bloodline. He's going to be in action at Extreme Rumble 10, where he puts his championship on the line, the mid-season part of Season 8. You can watch it on YouTube. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of figuratively, literally, all wrestling matters. I am the owner of Sportswire Radio, co-owner of the Pride Wrestling Federation, the new owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation. Stay tuned for more details on that. I'll be back here tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern time with Dalton Skull. I'll be here Tuesday night, also here with more details with James Taylor, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Monday night, I'm here with Van Hansen. Until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. Thank you so much, everybody, for all of your support, and I'll see you.